just sitting down. We're going to make this quick then. That's all right. How you guys doing? Good. Hello. Nice weather, though. Should be out hitting golf balls. At some point. Yeah, well, I'll say a couple words. I just want to say, from the standpoint of 10 picks was excellent. You guys know I wanted 10 picks. The process, being the first time for me being here with the scouts, the coaches, the owner, Bruce, was excellent. We hit what we wanted to hit from the standpoint not just good football players on the field, but off the field as well. That's very important to me. And I think the character off the field plays into a player going from good to great and great to special. And it was very important to me, especially my first draft, to let the Redskins community and fans and everybody out there know that we all take pride in this and we take ownership in it, and we got better because of that. And it's just the whole character and some really good football players. So that being said, go ahead.
Scott, can you give us some insight into the decision to take Brandon Scherff there at number 5 and what it means for Morgan Moses and Tom Compton?
Well, the thing about it, which is great, because as soon as we draft him, everybody's like, okay, he's going to be your starting right tackle, your starting right guard. No, he's got to come in and earn the job. From the standpoint of the player himself, the whole package. It's what I look for. I've been lucky to be around this league a long time and seeing players succeed that have that much ability, but also throw the character in there, the passion, the competitiveness, the toughness he has. I wanted my first pick to be here no matter what, somebody that's not just an impressive player, but an impressive person, and somebody you can build around. Not only does he come in as a good football player, guys around him will be better because of the way he approaches the game.
You mentioned guard there. Is there a scenario where he might play guard in the NFL?
You know what? The best 5 are going to be out there. When we draft him, we were drafting him as a tackle. It's what he played in college. And, if it ends up all of a sudden he plays 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years as a tackle, moves into guard, doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is getting the best 5 up front out there so we can win games.
Scott, the constant theme seemed to be about size and toughness with this class. Sure. Is that by design?
Well, it is. It's my philosophy. It's a long season. Like I said, prior to the draft, it's a big man's game. But also, it just happens the way our board, was set was with the big guys, at any position. But also you can see, with Crowder, and with Keyshawn Jarrett, just a smaller body guy, but still a really good football player. So it works out the way it did. I wanted size, of course, but I also wanted the football player, the whole package, and that's why it fell that way.
I apologize for putting some sort of negative spin on this part, but
okay.
Tough day for scouts around the league. I'm just curious, the new guy comes in, they make changes. I'm curious if you've had a chance to at least assess what direction you want to go with.
You know what? I have assessed it, and I'm going to meet this week with Bruce tomorrow, and then we're going to meet with Dan. But again, I was very, very happy with it. The whole process. You know what? The guys bought into it. The guys worked their tails off, and I could see the pride in it when we made the picks, and that's what I want. So as of right now, everything's status quo. We're going forward.
Scott, you obviously said some really glowing things about Brandon Scherff. But to circle back, what have you seen either on tape or at the combine that gives you confidence that he can handle the speed of, pass rushers at the NFL level if he does start out at tackle?
Yeah, like I said, he played tackle in college, played in the Big Ten and started many, many years and had a lot of success. He's a good enough foot athlete, and not just from the athleticism and the size. Everybody says, well, he's only got 33 3/4 arms. That's fine. The average is 34. Okay, so he's a quarter inch off. He's going to succeed because not just with his athleticism and size and toughness, but the instinct for the position. He knows how to play tackle, and that's why he's had success in college. And you can't teach instincts. He'll be fine wherever we put him. He's one of those guys that can succeed no matter what.
Staying with the offensive line, you say you want to get the best 5. Looking at the holdovers from last year, the guys you brought in, you kind of have a mix of guys who are better at power blocking and guys who are better at zone. Is that a workable mix there?
No, it is. It is. And the great thing about it is, and we're very lucky to have Bill Callahan here. He's been in the league a long time, been around some very successful teams as a head coach and as position coach. We tailored our draft picks to what fits his system. And power is very, very important. And with this division and playing late games, hopefully in the playoffs, all the way through, you're going to get bad weather games. We need to be able to win up front. We need to have big guys come off the ball and move people. And what we've addressed in this with Quanjo and with Brandon are big body guys that have no problem doing the dirty work.
And last year, third-round pick Morgan Moses, kind of with the 2 tackles there, he's kind of locked in. Any thought of moving him to guard?
Certainly. Like I said, the great thing about this is you can never have enough offensive line. You can never have enough good football players. Young guys, put them out there. Let them compete. The best man's going to win. And in the worst-case scenario is, Morgan doesn't get a starting job. Now you got a really good backup, and you're going to need them. Guys get nicked. Things happen. But, no, I'm excited about the young guys we have up front and the older guys. I mean, we got better up front, and that was very important to me on the offense and defense. We're lucky in free agency to do it in defense. In this draft, we did it on offense.
Going back to Thursday night and the number 5 pick, wondering if you could take us through the thought process on with Leonard Williams being available and how the choice was made.
The thing about Leonard, very good football player, and I was hoping to be able to move back there, and it didn't happen. Everybody was talking about trading up to our spot, but it was all for Fowler. And once Fowler went, then all the talks went off the board. But Leonard's a good football player, and if for some reason Brandon would have been gone, he would have been definitely probably 1B or 1C right there. You're talking about him. We were lucky enough, like I said, in free agency to do some stuff on the defensive side. And, from my standpoint, I know going into this thing, I knew we need some help up front on the offensive side. And it was too good of a bang for the buck not to get Brandon there.
And on your second-round pick, if you could explain what you liked about Smith and where you see him playing.
Well, first and foremost, SEC, dominant player. Okay, size, length. He has the ability to play on certain down stand-up and 2-point stands, and on certain pass rush in the 3-point stance. He played down at Mississippi State majority of the time, and it was unique about him when they go to the 3-man front, he'd move in on the nose tackle and play over the nose. I mean, he'd move as a nose tackle, play over the center, and have success rushing the passer from inside there. So he's, you'll see as I go through each year more and more, you're going to see I do a lot of big school guys and a lot of SEC guys. That's important to me, because they've been in the big games. They've been around 80,000 fans. They've been playing Alabamas. They've been playing LSU's. It's not too big for them to come out here. So he's unique because he's got 34.5-inch arms, and he's almost 6'5". He's 270 pounds, and he can rush the passer. It's a great tandem.
Scott, we talk about character a lot. You guys emphasize that and say you want good people in the locker room. We know the issues with Randy Gregory, but he was there for you guys. Did you think about taking him at all? And at what point does his value as an elite talent trump the issues he's had?
It's a very good question. We definitely had many discussions about him, because he is a talented player. I don't want to get into the background on him because a lot of it's been public, but that's his stuff. It did not play into it from a standpoint that each time we had a player on the board that fit to being a Redskin, okay? And like I said, character is very important to me. But the first and foremost is the football player on the field, being able to produce. But as you get through it, you especially my first draft, I want to build a core of guys from now going forward that are the whole package, that wants to be a Redskin, knows what a Redskin's about, and you mold them that way. Talent's very, very important, but also the whole package to me is important. That's what's going to get the guys to the second contract. That's what's going to get them out in the community. That's what's going to make us win games, in January and February.
So is it fair to say when you have the locker room the way you want it or closer to the way you want it with those kind of players, then you can take chances on guys that may have issues that you have to kind of...
Maybe later on you discuss it. But the key thing is I'm not worried about today. I'm worried about what's going forward. With the roster. I have to oversee, getting down to 53 and all that stuff. But I'm not worried about just a one-year bang. I'm worried about the guy gets the second contract, and it's going to be the core of the Redskins. And going forward, and each year we get better and better because of it. When guys walk in here in this locker room, in this weight room, and they see these young guys growing up and getting better, they follow them. And that's what makes it better.
Scott, can you talk about the 2 trades that you made over the course of the 3-day period and kind of how those came together?
With Seattle, it's my good buddy John Schneider. He had 11 picks. He had 4 compensatories that he couldn't trade. They have enough depth on their roster. He wanted to get my third because they had a late 2. He had no 1. He had a late 2 and then an early third. He wanted to get 2 guys for sure that he felt could make their team. So, everybody thinks we won the trade by the point system and all that. No. He got what he wanted, and I got what I wanted. Getting the 3 picks was huge to us. Like I said, I want to add football players. And the more swings you take, the better chance you're going to hit something. And we talked and talked and talked, and I was trying to win a trade. He was trying to win a trade. And finally, I said, "Screw it, let's just do the right thing." Okay, you give me 3, I'll give you the 1. Let's go. So it was done, and then. Bruce Allen does a great job talking to other teams while the draft's going on. I'm so focused and locked in on the board, game plan, strategies, and scenarios that he was able to talk, a lot of teams and finally when that trade happened. Again, we had other opportunities to trade back more and get some more picks, but we got the 10. I was happy with that.
And then I also just wanted to ask, for you personally, what were kind of the emotions like of just being back in the draft room?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's and it's not about me. It's about the whole everybody and seeing the positive energy in that room, seeing the head coach excited, seeing the owner excited, seeing the president excited, seeing the area scouts, high-fiving. It's really cool. It's a long process in the last 3 days when it's all said and done, but overall the whole fall, and all the meetings we do and to come down to get it done and just feel the energy, it was really cool.
Scott, with Scherff, how far away do you think, we know he's a dominant run blocker, how far away do you think he is from being a really good pass protector, and how much did the knee bother him last year in your estimation?
Not worried about the knee at all. He had the scope, and he was back the next day trying to do squats. That's just who he is. What was the first part of the question?
Just how far you think he's away from being a dominant pass protector, or a good one?
I think he can work on everything. And the really good thing about him coming out of Iowa with Kirk Ferentz, his background's offensive line. When he's in the league, he was with New England, he did all that stuff. But he can get better at everything. And the really cool thing about here with Coach Callahan is they're going to get better. The upside's tremendous. And it says it's not going to be like the pretty, flashy guy. It's just every day he's going to come out here and get better, and he's going to make us better.
And with Crowder, everybody's excited because of his punt return ability. Specifically as a wide receiver, appeared just from whatever I've been able to see, pretty good route runner too. Is that one of the things that attracted you to him?
Excellent. You know what? For an undersized guy, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a really good punt returner, and he is a receiver first, punt returner second. And he's going to come in here and you put him in the slot. He's going to be tough to cover. He's a football player.
After having a chance to evaluate the draft, just a couple of days, obviously, and looking at the roster overall, do you guys feel like you're done as far as looking for other talent out there? And I say that there's a guy you're familiar with, and Bruce Irving, who may be available out there. Is that something you would consider?
Yeah, definitely. Anything I possibly do to make this roster stronger. Right now we've agreed with 13. Guys, and even them coming in, I'm excited about the names we got. I can't put the names out yet. They'll come once we get them signed. But yeah, I'm always looking to make the roster stronger. This team has gotten better in my opinion, but we're not even close to where we're going to get to. Every day I'm trying to find a way to make this roster stronger.
All things considered, I just had to ask about Evan Spencer and what you saw in him.
What's really cool about that? Everybody's like, well, his brother works here and all that, and I told him prior to the draft, I said, I have him put on a spot, not because of the relation, because that's why I think he is a football player. And matter of fact, he was even around higher than we took him on our board. So, no, I'm very excited. And I got a really nice text from him last night, and he's like, listen, to hear my brother announced as a Redskin was so strong. Very cool.
Scott, on day 3, it seemed like there was an increased focus on getting players who are good on special teams. Yes. Is that the case, and why did you operate that way?
Very, very much so. And again, we took players first for the primary position, but I wanted guys that for sure can come in here and be quality backups, if not starters, and be really good on special teams, be core special teams guys. And they were all marked with a certain symbol on the card, and that was very important to me. Always will be.
Collins kid, would you guys, if he gets cleared, would you guys have interest in him?
I don't want to discuss that right now. It's a very sad situation where it's at, but we'll let the courts take care of everything, the police take care of everything. But I'm pulling for him.
Gabe Miller's agent, confirmed that he had been released. Can you tell us anything about a subsequent roster move, or how active you might be today, tomorrow, the next 48 hours?
No, we've gone through and we've released some players because we had to because of the number on the roster. That'll be announced once all the agents are contacted and the kids are let know of. That'll be announced probably later this evening. But I don't want to do that in front of everybody right now. But it's part of the process. And the tough thing for me is some of these kids I don't know. I haven't seen them practice. I haven't seen them play live. But talking to the coaches and talking with Bruce, we had to make some moves just because of the amount of new guys we're bringing in. But it's a tough day for those guys. I feel for them.
When you're looking at a player like Matt Jones that may have been available later, you like the guy. I mean, how do you kind of play that game in your head?
You never know. It's part of the game. That's why it's not exact science. I've had him. We had him put in the third round for a long time, and you could always say it'd be nice to get a guy in the fourth or the fifth, and take someone else. But at that point, he was the best player on our board, and I had absolutely no problem taking him in the third. It was funny. I talked to Frank Gore last night. My first draft in San Fran, we took him in the third. And I said, if he's half the player you are, we'll be okay. So, but I'm excited about Matt. And he came in yesterday. You guys met him. He's a big body guy. He's a good football player. He's tough as crud. Yep.
Did Brandon's presence at all affect what you guys did with right tackle in free agency, knowing you might be able to get him, a guy like that, high on the board?
No.
And did you just see anything at that position?
Yeah, they didn't play into it. It'd been nice if we could have got a tackle in free agency. That'd been great. We tried, but no, it did not play into it. Yeah, it did not play into it.
Seems like you guys picked a lot of guys who had been around for 4 years, stayed in school all the way
Yep.
through, and it got a lot of guys with leadership characteristics. How important was that, I guess?
Very
as you were-
important. I learned this when I was young. I was with Mike Holmgren, and he says, go back and do me a study. Look at the quarterbacks that made a commitment to a university and graduated, and their success in the league, and do the underclassmen who did not fulfill their commitment to the university. And at first I kind of thought, well, what's it really matter? And he told me, he says, I want guys, they tell you something, they finish it. And that's very important. I'm not saying there hasn't been underclassmen that didn't get their degree. They're a really good football players, and there always will be. But I think when it comes down to getting close to it, I'll take the guy that committed to something and finished it.
Scott, back to the whole scout stuff that John asked you about earlier, specifically with Scott Campbell. I believe you were working with him before you actually took the job through your private scouting service, or at least consulting with him.
Yeah.
How much did that head start, if you will, that comfortability with each other, help you kind of hit the ground running when you actually took the job?
Yeah, the real cool thing, my 21 years in the league, I've known Scott for 21 years. John Schneider worked with him, hired him, So I've known Scott a long time. He's a very good football guy. Similar to me, he grew up around it, with his father, always being around it. So it was an easy transition with him. And the really cool thing is he's very good at evaluating, but he's also good with helping me just with seeing the overall picture of stuff. Because I'll get locked in on certain things. He's like, well, what about this? You think about this? So it was a really good relationship. I look forward to going forward.
You said you wanted to go into Thursday with every scenario possible and be comfortable and just do the draft. Is that how it played out, or were you guys selling for any loops?
That's how it played out. And the thing that's great about it with the coaches, from the head coach, Jay, to coordinators to position coaches, I had them all involved with each pick. And, I make the final decision, but I want everybody to take ownership. And it was a really good conversations. Even the owner was sitting in there. And things went, if you had told me I could get the 10 guys, first of all, get the 10 picks and get the 10 guys I got before the draft, I would have said, if that's possible, it's great. I don't think it can happen. I don't think we get those 10. And we're able to do that. I'm a little biased, but I'm telling you, you wait and see. It's a good group.
Knowing that Preston Smith was not in a 3-4 system earlier, was there something you saw on tape that made you know he could make that transition easily?
You can see the athleticism on tape, no doubt about it. Just the flexibility in his lower body, his length, his arms. But at the pro day, they worked him as a linebacker, dropped him, flipped his hips, and catch ball. He might have the best hands on our team when he comes in here. So, he's a unique athlete. It's impressive. He, like I said, 6'5", 270, and he ran 4.7. And, he had sack production, like I said, even on the center in college in the SEC, which is hard to do. So he's got natural pass rush instincts. And you'll see he's got the flexibility in his hips and lower and the quickness to get it done. So. Thanks, Scott. Yep. Thank you guys very much.